So this is a practice, inshallah, on this surah. So if you guys see it, وَكَذَلِكَ. Remember, this is actually right there. So we're in Surah Al-An'am, and this is the surah number, and this is the juzu, or the para in Urdu. So here we go. وَكَذَلِكَ فَتَنَّا بعضهم. I want you to look at that noon that has a shadda right there. You're going to press on it. فتنا بعضهم ببعض. Now I want you to look at this tanween that's gray right there. You're going to take out the N sound. So every time you see a tanween that's gray, you're going to take out the N sound and you're going to connect. ببعض ليقولوا أهؤلاء من الله. من الله. What are you going to do? ليقولوا أهؤلاء من الله عليهم. Notice here, you guys, every time you see a noon or a meme that have a shadda, you're actually going to press on it. So, أهؤلاء من الله عليهم من بيننا. Meme. Every time you see this flying meme up there, you're actually going to flip the N sound into an M. من بيننا. أليس. أليس الله بأعلم بالشا. Now, the reason why they put you those two letters in gray simply because they're silent. بالشاكرين. وإذا جاءك. This wave on top simply means you're going to extend it. The only ones that you're going to find this wave on top are really the letters of a and the u and the e, which basically are the vowel letters in Arabic, the a and the u and the e. جاءك الذين يؤمنون بآياتنا. فقل, not فقل, فقل سلام عليكم. كم, not كم. كتب ربكم على نفسه الرحمة. Now what you're going to do, you're going to look at that ra. Every time that ra is dark blue, you're going to make it an ra. You're going to make it a big, filling your mouth type of ra, and not the one that is not filling your mouth. So here, right here, كتب ربكم على نفسه الرحمة. أنه. Remember that noon that has a shadda, you're going to press on it. The noon and the meme that have a shadda, you're going to press on it. أنه من عمل منكم. Every time you see the green noon, you're going to make it that blend. What the nasal twain is really going to be in the following letter and not actually on the noon itself. منكم سوءا. Now, why is this meme up here? This meme is really equivalent to this meme that is up there. Whenever there is a noon with a sukoon or a tanween, the tanween is like an on and an, and there's a letter ba after it. Look at this. There's a letter ba after it. So if there's an n sound, whether it's an official noon or whether it's an n on n, that, and then there's a ba after it, that's when they will actually indicate that you're going to flip the N sound into an M sound. So that is actually called iqlab, to mean flipping. Su'am bijahalatin thum. Right there, here's the very equivalent to this noon that is green. So the noon that is green or the tanween that is green, you're making, and there's a black letter that's after it. This is actually called ikhfa haqiqi, in where what you're going to do, bijahalatin thumma, jahalatin thumma. You're going to press on every single meme or noon that actually has a shadda. Thumma taba mim. Again, Here's that flipping part in where you've got the letter ba after it. So they indicated that you are actually supposed to be flipping the N sound into an M sound by putting that M on top. And notice here, if you actually just put, if we're just going to annotate right there, just to show you how similar these ones are, let's look at that one. Here's the bat right after it. That's because right there. So all those are actually called iqlab. So what are we going to do? We're going to flip the N sound into an M sound. Somebody might be asking on this side, where's the tanween that you talked about? So they took out the tanween by putting an M, but that is the reason why they actually have it there. Let's continue. من بعده وأصلح فأنه. I want to look at this one right there and this one right there. So these ones, if they don't have a wave on top, if it doesn't have a wave on top, that means it's the letter that's following it is not a hamza, it's not an F, but another letter. So what are you going to do? If it's like this kind, in where, look, you can see it's kind of like a half a triangle, you're going to make it into a he. So ba'dihi, but this one, you're going to make it into a hu. Annahu, hu, fa'annahu. And guess what? You're never going to find an S. So it's never going to be the ha in terms of that extension type. So it's always going to be, or at least an indication. So it's either going to be an E, which is this one right there, or it's going to be a hu and making it somewhat longer. So what if it had a wave on top? What if this one or that one had a wave on top? Then it would be ba'dihi, or this one if it had a wave on top. فَأَنَّهُ. Then this would be called matsila kubra if it had a wave on top of it, to mean it's a madsila kubra. And if it doesn't have a wave on top, it's madsila sughra. All right, let's continue. وَأَصْلَحَ فَأَنَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. فَأَنَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. What am I doing? Taking out the N sound and connecting with the following one. Now, why is that ra right there black? Dark blue. So the dark blue raws are different than the black raws, because the black raws are actually r sounding, thin sound, versus the dark blue raws are actually thick raws. We'll see them later on. غفور رحيم. وكذلك كذا not كذا. وكذلك نفصل الآيات ولتستبين سبيل المجرمين. سبيل المجرمين. قل إني نهيت. That's a he right there. أن أعبد الذين تدعون. I want to look at these light blue ones. The light blue ones are actually called qalqala, and they're only in 5 letters. They only appear in 5 letters. Really easy to remember. And those 5 letters are the letters of qa, and the letter ta, and the letter ba, and the letter jim, and the letter da. So qutub jad. And here's the letter jim right there. Here's the letter da right there. And here's the letter ba. When do they actually appear? Only when there's an official sukoon or a non-official sukoon. So what's an official sukoon? An official sukoon simply means you actually literally see the sukoon. But the non-official sukoon, it happened to be without any haraka, without any e, that is, because of you stopping at it. All right. So in that situation, that would be a non-official sukoon. Well, remember, if we were to read this one and stop at it, we're not going to say al-muhtadina, but we're going to say al-muhtadin. So then that would mean it would have a non-official sukoon on the noon right there. So let's continue right there. So where were we? أن أعبد الذين تدعون من دون الله. Min dunillahi. So not min dun. Why not min dunillahi? So the word Allah, whenever there is a kasra right before it, which is what there, that's when you would actually say la, not Allah. That's why we say Bismillah and not Bismillah. We would say Bismillah, all right? So right here, Dunillah. So why did we say Bismillah? Well, because the word Bismi, which actually came or preceded with the word Allah, had a kasra. So therefore, we're going to say Bismillah. Similarly here, Dunillah, because the word Duni, the last letter coming before and preceding the word Allah, has a kasra. So you say La. Min Dunillah. This flying one right there actually means you can stop there. قل لا أتبع not no أتبع أهواءكم قد ضللت right here قد ضللت ضل not ضل and right there they indicated that you're going to actually make what we call the qalqala. A qalqala means you're giving that letter a shake. قد ضللت إذا what did I just do? I took out the N sound. That's why they have it for you in gray. إذا وما أنا this little zero on top actually means if I'm going to stop at it, وما أنا, if I'm going to stop at it, the a is going to be audible. But if I continue, the a simply disappears as follows. وما أنا من أنا من Did you hear that? When I continued, this letter that has a zero on top disappeared. But if I were to stop, وما أنا, if I needed to stop. وما أنا من المهتدين. What did I do? Well, because I stopped, I simply made this one go away and disappear. And then we go on. من المهتدين. قل إني. Now, what are we going to do? That noon that has a shadda right there, we're actually going to give it somewhat of a pressure right there. قل إني على بينة. Take out the N sound whenever you see that tanween or the noon that's gray. So the noons and the tanweens that are gray, you're simply going to make them vanish. So قل إني على بينة من ربي. بينة. Take out the N sound. Mir. Why did I not say min? Because remember, the noon is actually gray. You're going to take out the N sound of it. Mir Rabbi وكذا وكذبتم وكذبتم به ما عندي ما تستعجلون به. Now, remember this one that we actually said very similar to that one, but the difference is that this one right there, you could see that it actually has the wave that I talked to you about earlier. So what do you see? You see that wave indicating that you're going to make the bihi into a long bihi and not a bihi like this one. Although both are bihi, but for this bihi, you're just going to say bihi, not bihi. What about this one? This one becomes a long bihi simply because you see the wave on top of this E that they're indicating right there. So let's see the difference. وَكَذَّبْتُمْ بِهِ مَا عِنْدِي. Did you hear that? بِهِ مَا عِنْدِي. Versus this one. مَا عِنْدِي مَا تَسْتَعْجِلُونَ بِهِ إِنِ الْحُكْمُ إِلَّا لِلَّهِ. Now, what did we say here? به إن الحكم إلا لله. يقو, not ya, يقص الحق وهو خير. خا, not خا, but خا, because the letter خا is one of the letters that are thick. How do I memorize the thick letters? All you need to do is really memorize the combination of the combination of the fat letters, which are simply the khussa, ضغط قذ ra, the ha, the sa. The best way to memorize it is basically remembering the letters that are the X-shaped letters, the sa and the da, the ta and the va. Those are the letters that basically come with a thick sound. So sa and da and ta and va, kha, gha, and qa. Those are the letters that you make a big mouth with them. خص ضغط قذ را. All right, so let's continue. وهو خير الفاصلين. فا not fa, fa. وهو خير الفاصلين. قل لو أن عندي ما تستعجلون به لقضي الأمر بيني وبينكم والله أعلم بالظالمين. والله أعلم بالظالمين. وعنده مثل. Look at that who right there. Why? It doesn't have a wave on top. So I'm just going to say وعنده who, not وعنده, but who. وعنده مفاتيح الغيب لا يعلمها. Notice how we're extending this one. لا يعلمها إلا هو. Why did I stop? Because this is actually a stop sign right there. Same thing with this one. ويعلم ما في البر, not با, ما في البر والبحر وما تسقط what am I doing? Taking out the N sound. من ورقة ra. The ra is dark blue, making it thick. من ورقة إلا يعلمها. not la. يعلمها ولا حبة في. What am I doing? There's that green one indicating that you want to make the following letter after this one with a nasal twang. ولا حبة في ظلمات الأرض ولا رطب. What am I doing? That ball that is light blue, you're giving it a shake. ولا رطب ولا يابس إلا في كتاب مبين. This is it. So for those, it's actually page 134. And what did we do here? كتاب مبين. What did I do? Take out the N sound, connect, and of course, press on this meme that has a shadda right there, making it just basically the end of today's class. This is it. Any questions that anybody has, I'd be happy to hear it. I'm going to allow you to unmute yourselves. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me before we actually end this one. Any questions? If anybody has anything, go ahead.
It says live on YouTube.